This is the Padua Podcast Network.
And moved all the way up to number 3, the oldest living person, and one of only 3 people to exceed 118 years of age, and the first person to reach 118 in over 20 years. Running a Fever episode 250, Living to 100, 2021. Welcome to Running a Fever. My name is Michael Davis. I just want to live a long, healthy, happy, active life right up to the very end. My goal is to live to 120, and I am learning how to do that. If you also want to live a long, healthy, happy, active life right up to the very end, well, you're in the right place. This is a fitness journey podcast. I'm not an expert in fitness, but I'm becoming an expert at my own health, and that's what I recommend for you. Now, today we have one of my favorite series and one of yours too, according to the downloads that I'm seeing. Our episodes on the longest-lived people are some of the most popular. Now, what I do is present the list of the longest-lived people of all time. I'll also go into detail on any new additions to the list. Now, we're specifically talking about the people who have lived the longest with documented proof. I'll give you the whole list, talk about what's changed since last year, and ask a few questions. What can we learn from the lives of this list of the royalty of longevity? A person who lives past 110 is called a supercentenarian. All of the top 100 fall into that category and have for years. They're also all women. I'll give you the list of the longest-lived people, but first I want to ask a few questions to help us think about what we could learn from this. First, what was the quality of life of these people during those extra years? The life expectancy of a woman born in 1921 was 60. For someone my age, it was 68. What was life like after they reached that average age in the final years? Basically, is it worth living a longer life? Second, living to be over 100 is still very rare, though some estimates say that children born today have a 33% chance of living to be 100. But for someone born in 1919, that actual survival rate is a lot less. According to Dan Buettner in a TED Talk from 2013, only about 1 in 5,000 in the U.S. live to be 100. Since this is such a small number of us, is anything about their lives relevant to the rest of us? These are some questions we'll keep in mind as we go through the list, which I'll now outline for you. Number 10 on the list of people with the highest verified age. New this year is Lucille Randon, a.k.a. Sœur André, born in 1904 and still living, age 116 years, 354 days as of January 30th. Number 9, Misao Okawa of Japan, who lived from 1898 to 2015, 117 years, 27 days. She moves up from number 10 due to the removal of Lucy Hannah, which I'll discuss later. Number 8, Chiyo Miyako, also Japanese, 1901 to 2018, total age 117 years, 81 days. Moved up from number 9 last year. Number 7, Emma Morano of Italy, 1899 to 2017, 117 years, 137 days. Number 6, Violet Brown from Jamaica, lived 1900 to 2017, 117 years, 189 days. Number 5, Marie-Louise Milieu, Canadian, lived 1880 to 1998, 117 years, 230 days. Number 4, Nabi Tajima, Japan, 1900 to 2018, 117 years, 260 days. Down from number 3 last year. And number 3, Kane Tanaka, born the 2nd of January 1903, 118 years, 28 days, still living as of January 30, 2021. Number 2, Sarah Knauss, the only American on the list, 1880 to 1999, 119 years, 97 days. And number 1 is still Jeanne Calment, France, 1875 to 1997, 122 years, 164 days. So, Kane Tanaka stayed alive and moved all the way up to number 3, the oldest living person, and one of only 3 people to exceed 118 years of age, and the first person to reach 118 in over 20 years. Missing from this year's list is Lucy Hannah, previously listed as the 3rd longest-lived person, the only African American, and one of only 2 on the list from the United States. So what happened to Lucy Hannah? Well, new information came to light that indicates that she was 20 years younger at her death than we thought. The details are not terribly interesting. If you'd like to read them, there is a link in the show notes to the report from the book Exceptional Lifespans, with a very recent update on supercentenarian documentation. And if you'd like to know about Lucy Hannah, check out episode 167 of this podcast. The list consists entirely of women. The man who lived the longest, Jiroman Kimura, still holds that record. He lived 116 years, 54 days. The oldest living man is Saturnino de la Fuente of Spain at 111. The average woman can still expect to live as much as 5 years longer than the average man. Of course, I'm only looking to make it to 120. It's already been done, so shouldn't be a big deal. Next episode, I'll tell you more about our new addition to the list this year, 116-year-old Lucille Randon. I'll also have an episode on how COVID-19 is affecting longevity. Until then, if you got the fever, keep it. If you don't, catch the fever. And I'll talk to you next time on Running a Fever.